I'm Lisa K. Donner, along with Jeff Charles, Sarah Cowgill, Andrew Moran, and James Fife. And this is the Conservative Five, Liberty Nation's online TV news program. We've talked about this for years. The big box media and the inbred pedigree publications tend to fit the facts to the narrative. Oftentimes, no one calls them out. But one hospital in Oklahoma cried foul after Rolling Stone magazine published an entirely false story. It seems they caught a whiff of a whopper, and instead of tracking down the source that a local NBC affiliate used, they simply went immediately to print without verification. What was the outlandish claim made in Rolling Stone that had the leftist media salivating? Here it is. A rural Oklahoma hospital was turning away gunshot victims because the locals were taking a livestock dewormer to ward off COVID. Anything to make those in the heartland look stupid, I guess. So let's check with our local yokels that live in rural America. Sarah, you're up first.
What a bunch of horse hockey, as we say in the Boonieville. Yeah, that doesn't happen. First of all, there's not gunshot victims lined up anywhere in rural areas because we don't shoot each other for silly stuff. We just don't. We might fight each other and beat each other up. We might, talk bad about you at the local bar. We don't shoot you. That's just not what we do. So that statement was so egregious. That's what it caught my eye, was that particular statement. Like, what are you trying to do? Make us look like idiots? That doesn't happen. The other thing is, hello, pick up the phone, call the local station that you pulled this out of, and get the name and number and just run it down. It took me 5 minutes to make that phone call to that doctor. It took me 5 minutes to get the phone number and to make the call. Why didn't they do that? I don't know, but now they got egg on their face.
Jim, you live off the grid in the boonies like Sarah. What do you say about the horse dung Rolling Stone stepped in?
Well, first off, I just want to say I love this story. There's two problems. One, as Sarah kind of alluded to, is the just the lazy journalism. It's not even, they don't even change the headlines now or the wording in the stories. You can open 5 different links from 5 different outlets and it's verbatim the same story. But then the bias and what shocked me was that they didn't even care. Really, they put the little update in there. Oh, okay, well, here's the correction from the hospital. But then they left.
We couldn't prove it. False sorry. Story.
But what I love so much about this story, you guys and gals, is that not only was it just simply not true, because no, there weren't gunshot. Who in rural America thinks there was actually gunshot patients lined up at a rural hospital? No one. That's city folk stuff. But then not only was that situation not actually happening, but the hospital clarified that they had not treated a single case of ivermectin overdose.
Well, Andrew, where did they come up with this stuff?
Sorry, I feel a little bit hoarse.
Oh my gosh.
Go back to the impressions, please. Go back to the impressions. That was violence. You just chose violence. That was violent.
But, just to clarify, what's interesting, too, is that they never issued a retraction. They only issued an update. But let's stop horsing around and just call it what it is. Fake news. Oh. This is the complete personification of fake news. But one thing I find interesting also about the story is that myself and Jeff, we patronize Twitter all the time. We're part of the Twitterverse. The platform never took action on these tweets that promoted this fake news story. Usually when something goes viral and it disagrees with it, or they find it false, it will slap a misleading label on it or call it fake. But the company never did this. Rachel Maddow, Joanne Reed, they post this news article and nothing was ever classified as misinformation. And now other members of the press are still trying to give this story some legs by saying it could be true. Daniel Dale, he's a CNN fact checker, and he's a former Toronto journalist from back in the day. He claimed that the at least one Oklahoma hospital had patients who had poisoned from ivermectin, but he never, he never said, he never just dismissed the story and said it was fake. So members, I guess, everyone's crowding together and saying, let's try to protect this Rolling Stone publication.
There's only a couple of hundred, 300 or 400, I think, that have across the nation of ivermectin poisoning. And I can guarantee you it's not anybody around here. These are the yahoos that go into their pet store down the road and buy dewormer and think they can use that. We know what's in it. We know it's for animals. The other thing that really ticked me off about this, they used a picture taken in January at an Oklahoma hospital, people all bundled up, and they're saying, and they relabeled it as people waiting in line to get in because there's so many people being poisoned. Well,
apparently the ivermectin poisoning makes you really cold.
Yeah, it makes you cold because Oklahoma in August, September. Yeah, it's hot and sticky. People would be wearing flip-flops, grossing me out, but they'd be wearing flip-flops.
Our favorite socialist that we talk about from time to time. Oh, AOC, I think it was, that said that it's more important to be morally right than factually right.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about for these people.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, usually when I talk about the media, I tell people the media typically lies by omission and not by commission. It means that they lie by leaving stuff out, not by making stuff up.
Yeah, it's the easier one to excuse.
Yeah, but this story is a horse of a different color because in this instance,
I saw that.
There we go.
Just getting in on the horse jokes. Here, I'm going to tell you what happened. Here's what happened. These people got so eager to create a narrative about ivermectin because of Joe Rogan, and that they didn't even bother to do that 5-minute phone call like Sarah said. They wanted to make hay so bad that they threw all their supposed principles out of the window because they don't care whether it's true or not. They have no shame. They have no principles. These are not journalists. These are left-wing activists, and they have no problem lying to the American public. Even when I was at a conference this past weekend, so I wasn't even able to really keep up with the news like that. I saw that headline, and I thought, okay, yeah, that's fake. That's fake. I didn't even look into it. I knew it was fake. Yeah. I didn't even make the whole rural connection thing. I just knew it was fake. There was no way that their claim was true. Ivermectin isn't a thing like that. Like Sarah said, 300 across the entire country. Come on now. Just because Joe Rogan used it as part of a cocktail of medical treatments that he used to deal with COVID-19. And it's gotten so bad that even he's thinking about suing CNN for pretending that he was taking horse dewormer, that he was actually using medication that is intended just for animals.
Because there is actually a human ivermectin.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't taking horse paste. He wasn't taking horse medicine.
You know what people who have horses realize? That those things weigh like 3 to 5 times as much as us. I mean, no one's going to take a freaking horse dose of dewormer and expect to be okay. That has a horse.
You have to twist the thing. You have to hold the mouth open. You have to squirt it in, and then you have to hold the mouth closed.
Yeah, I don't understand the press's hatred for ivermectin. If you go back at September 2020, PBS had this great story. It was a factual story. There wasn't bias. It just talked about how some doctors in the United States, they're testing ivermectin. They want to see, they were so desperate. They were trying things, and they looked at the remaining possibility of how this could help treat COVID. But nowadays, these COVID cultists are so obsessed with the vaccines that they right away they poo-poo everything if it's not the vaccine. Why can't we just celebrate anything that can help treat your COVID symptoms? Why do we have to just go for one?
Because they don't care about COVID deaths. They don't care about people dying from COVID. They care about the politics of it. They care about being able to control people. They don't care about how COVID is affecting people. Otherwise, Andrew, you're right. They would be celebrating that something actually helps, even if they think that vaccines are still better.
I'm not even so sure that it's about vaccines. I think it's less about the what and more about the who. Hydroxychloroquine. Why was that vilified? Donald Trump. Ivermectin. Why is that being vilified? Joe Rogan.
Yep.
Also,
ivermectin. That really is the only reason, by the way. That is the only reason.
Also,
All right.
ivermectin is off patent, so a lot of these pharmaceutical companies they wouldn't be making as much money as they do off of the as they're making now with the COVID vaccines.
Hey,
Well,
not
I-
if you can get it at the feed store.
Right.
All right. Well, let me just say that this Rolling Stone story exemplifies everything that's wrong with journalism today. Thanks, panel. That's it for our Conservative 5 panel today. Check out our other C5 shows and segments on your favorite video platform, YouTube, Vimeo, Rumble. We're on them all. As well, Liberty Nation has its own Roku channel where you can see all of our TV productions. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to surf on over to libertynation.com. Sign up for our new member zone, just $29.99 for the year. For our post-production coordinator and editor, Frank DiOrio, and executive producer, Sarah Cowgill, I'm Lisa K. Donner, editor-in-chief. Thanks so much for joining us today. This has been a production of libertynation.com, conservative news where truth matters.